I'm now excited to be joined by a very special guest. It is Arkansas coach Sam Pittman. Sam, you had the year that Arkansas fans were hoping for. There was no sort of sophomore slump. You hit a bit of a snag in October, but you still deliver the program's first top 25 finish in a decade. You add a whole mess of rivalry trophies to the case. I mean, very, very impressed that you were able to do that. I know that was a big point of emphasis. And it's kind of crazy to think about, 17 months ago, you're just a first-time FBS head coach, and you're trying to end the program's SEC drought in terms of wins over 1,000 days. Do you sense that momentum and that confidence, or does it still feel like that same place that you took over 2 years ago?
No, I feel through our team that we've earned confidence. We've earned that. We're having an excellent offseason. You can see just the way that we walk, the way that we talk, the way that we act. You can tell that things are different, and we're certainly not where we need to be. But I think they have bought into the fact that we know the only way we can get there is to work, and they have done that ever since we got back to school.
Is it different now? Like when you like look in the players' eyes, and you can tell when you first show up there, it'd be hard not to look defeated. You can put out all the hype videos you want and talk about culture and these different things, but when you've had those kinds of struggles, when you walk in the door and you look on a player's face and you see kind of what they've been through, was that so obvious for you then? And is it just like, does it just bring you joy to kind of see that change, that transformation now?
Yeah, I think you're talking about what I would call internal belief and external belief.
Yeah.
We've got internal belief now. I think anybody can say they believe and say they want to work and say they want to do that, but they really don't believe it internally in their heart and in their soul. And I think now we have what I would call the internal belief that we have shown what we can do and what we can accomplish. We're certainly not where we need to be, but yes, you can feel it.
Are you at the level now where you're incognito when you go out? Because I imagine you're getting hounded everywhere you want to go. You don't want to be the guy that just like avoids everything, because you are a public figure now in Fayetteville in a bigger way than you've been at any point in your career. But is it weird? Like, do you wear a hat when you go out? Like, you go to the grocery store, you go to the restaurant? Like, what are those interactions like for you?
No, and I'm a people person, and people are very courteous and ask for autographs and pictures and all those type things, and I'm more than happy to do that. No, I can't really go anywhere in the state of Arkansas without not something very exciting going on. But I don't try to disguise it. I embrace it, because I one time a coach, and depending on what you think of a coach, but a coach made me feel like $1 million one time, just because he knew my name and he acknowledged me. And for each their own of who that person may be. But I want to make dang sure that if I'm that person for them, that I give them a great experience and something that they can remember. And because someone did it for me in my life.
Are we talking like a Pittsburgh State coach did that for you back in the day?
No. It was a coach of a D1 school back when I was coaching high school, and just yelled across the parking lot. And I was with my wife. I was young, and he said, "Hey, Coach Pittman, thanks for coming to the game." And I go, "Oh, okay." This guy coaching at this college knew who I was and my name, and yeah, I'll never forget that.
Don't undersell the MIAA. It is the SEC of Division II football. Real ones know, man. Real ones know.
That's right.
You kicked off 2022 in a way that Arkansas fans could only dream of. A Gatorade bath in Florida with a sticky hug with John Daly. I actually went back. I watched the All 22 of the Gatorade bath, and you sort of turned into it. So two-part question here. One, did you want the Gatorade bath to cool down? And two, were you like me sitting there hoping, praying after all these different Gatorade dumps, mayo and French fries, all these different things. Were you hoping that we were going to get a bloomin' onion bath to cap off the Outback Bowl?
I was hoping I'd get a blooming onion to eat. I can tell you that. Well done, by the way. It has to be well done for me to really enjoy
Yes.
it. But no, I had no idea that it was coming. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't really even thinking about it. I hadn't been this long-term head coach where you're getting a lot of, Gatorade on you. But they hit me right in the front. They avoided my face, but they got everything else. And of course, I was down to a 2X shirt, and yes, I said down to a 2X shirt.
Just say you look great.
And then it got all wet, and I'm like, man, I wish I'd have wore a jacket or something, because I knew we were winning, and I knew we was going to be on the stage, and I thought, man, I hope this dries out pretty soon. It was awesome, but I turned right into it, not knowing it was coming, and they got me pretty good.
Have you and John Daly, have you been able to play some golf yet?
No, I mean, I'd had to hit it 4 times just to get close to him off his drive, but I tell you, he's a great supporter of the program, and was really, really neat to see him down there and embrace the Hogs down in Tampa. And obviously he comes up here, he's got a son on the golf team, but just a special character, special guy. And I'm glad that he calls me, and I feel like he's my friend. So really good guy.
I feel like you, John, Justin Moore, Bobby Bones, you could play in like a foursome, and maybe, it's not so much focused on the golf shots, but just the commentary that would come from it. And like, it would be a special that we could see on CMT or something like that. Maybe the Golf Channel would air that. I would watch that. I don't know about you, but I would sign up for that. That was a big deal with like the Peyton Manning, Tom Brady thing. I think we need an Arkansas version of that.
You know what? That'd be a lot of fun, and I certainly would do it. I was on the radio yesterday and teasing Justin Moore that I was coming to see him in concert. And oh, by the way, who's that? Oh, George Strait's there too. Huh? He was laughing, but Justin Moore's special. He's really good at what he does.
You won the Outback Bowl without Traylon Burks, who was just a warrior for you guys this season. I know you've already sung his praises. You were doing radio with my guy JB, and you are admittedly biased when it comes to evaluating Traylon Burks, especially at the next level. But when you see some of these, and you're not plugged into the mock drafts, why would you be? You got better things to do with your time. But like, when you have people call you up and question this thing or this thing when it comes to Traylon Burks, because people are doing their due diligence if he's going to be taken in the first round of the NFL draft, does it just kind of make you laugh when they question some of those abilities, given what you've seen from him?
Well, I've been in this a long time and had a lot of first rounders, when I was coaching offensive line. So I respect every question, because there's millions of dollars involved in this pick, and maybe their job's on the line if they take him. What I always tell them, if I believe it, now I tell them whatever I believe, but is that with Traylon, he's got great work ethic. He's a wonderful character kid. He's not going to be in any type of trouble. He's going to make your organization better. And then wherever you think he fits off of film, then he'll be every bit as good as that, and probably better. And then they got to, it's their organization. They got to figure out what they want to do with him, but he'll be better than what they think he is. I can promise you that. He was when I came in.
Yeah. When you came in, did you have to make any sort of sell to him? Because people forget, like, he committed to play for a different offense. He's an in-state kid, of course. Like, he loves the program, and that's never been in doubt. But did you have to make any sort of sell to him to say, like, hey, this is the offense we're going to run. This is the way that we're going to use you?
No. I think it's kind of like when he's coming out of high school, he wanted to play for the Razorbacks, and I didn't think that changed when Coach Morris was when Coach Morris left.
I don't like putting Jaden Hazelwood in the same sentence as Traylon Burks. I feel like that's unfair to Jaden.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And just because Traylon did stuff that, I mean, I don't know that we've seen an Arkansas receiver in the 21st century do all the different things that he did and how valuable he was. But what do you think Jaden is going to bring to your offense, and what kind of impact can he have for you guys this year? Somebody who comes in obviously very highly touted from Oklahoma.
Well, we obviously signed him because we knew we had to replace Traylon. So he was the one that we were going after to try to place those numbers in that position. We've known him for a long time, recruited him when we was over at Georgia, and Jimmy Smith was his high school coach. But the thing I like about him is how much he's matured out of high school. Not that he was immature. He's a grown man, and physically, mentally, he can handle what we're going to ask him to do. He can handle the pressure of what we're going to ask him to do. But I think we're really, really fortunate to have Hazelwood on our team because of the loss of Burks. And, we're going to have to replace some numbers. We'll have to play some touchdowns, some key catches. And we believe that he can be that guy to help us.
The more I watched KJ, the more I just kind of felt like he was your dude. I mean, tough as hell, confident, but blue collar, smart with the football. I cannot wait to see his encore 2022. What's something that people at home maybe might not have known about KJ and what he meant for you guys last year?
He's quiet. I don't know if people think that he's not, but he's not a loud person. He's extremely hard worker, funny, hilarious, messes with me all the time. But the thing I didn't know about him was, and you think this is silly of me not to know it, but his running ability. I found, because you have a quick whistle, you never touch him, so in practice. So, if somebody comes up and tags him, we're running an option or whatever, you don't get to see the true athlete, nor do you want to. You don't want people to hit him.
Sure.
But that run against Rice in the second half, I go, man, we've got something here. We've got a 60, 80-yard rusher a game guy right here, and not having to force it, just have him. And so I don't know. I found that out myself. And then here's the number one thing. He's much better on a Saturday than he is Monday through Friday. And he's getting a lot better at it Monday through Friday, but he's a gamer. And Saturdays you can count on him.
You have probably heard maybe some of the early disrespect with the Heisman conversation with him, or some of that stuff, and it gets overblown. And we know that stuff can change in a hurry come September. But is that something that can kind of benefit him in a way? Because obviously, like you want, in an ideal world, a guy who has the type of year he does, as successful as he was, you want him to come back hungry. You want him to come back wanting to add more things to his game and come back, kind of pissed off. And it seems like you have that right now with KJ.
I think he thrives on you got to watch it in this world about believing what people say about you, good or bad.
Yeah.
You are who you are, not who people say you are. And so you got to kind of be careful about that. So, we talked, he needs to keep the good things people are saying about him, just keep them kind of under wraps. And then he uses that as motivation. In other words, last year, I think somebody said that he was the worst quarterback in the SEC.
My guy, Brad Crawford. Yeah.
Through the year. And I said, well, welcome to the club. I was the worst coach in Power 5 when I got the job. And so if you want to use those as driving, he's good at that. You got to watch it because people can control. Like, I always think I'm not going to let what public perception is of me affect one decision that I make. If we're going to win, it's going to be because we've thought about it and we calculated what the decision is. And if we're going to lose and they fire me, it's going to be because I deserve to get fired, not because I cared about what somebody else thought about what I was doing or anything like that. we try to take that over to the kids as well. And then they'll kind of, the good things they'll store, the bad things, it could be motivation. And KJ is really good at that.
How does he mess with you?
Joking all the time. I mean, he always said he's a small town kid from Oklahoma, because I said, all I am is a small town kid from Oklahoma. He always comes up and says that to me. And he wants to race me all the time, which he'd lose. And I don't want to bring his confidence down. So I won't do that to him, or, go bench press or whatever. I don't want to embarrass the kid. But no, we're always messing around with each other. I love him. I love all the kids on the team, but he's just a special person, and he's always messing with me some way or another.
How much are you benching right now?
Oh, I'd probably about 120.
I mean, because you say down to 2XL, you're losing some weight. Last time I asked Lane Kiffin about this, he got in his feelings and said that it was weird for me to ask a question like that. But I feel like I can ask you a question about this.
You can ask me whatever you want.
You're drinking Diet Mountain Dew. That the world needs to know. All right. So you're taking a healthy choice there.
To the Dew, baby.
Are you wanting like a diet plan right now? A fitness plan?
Yeah. I don't know if it's called keto or Atkins. It's kind of a little bit of both, but basically is I eat whatever the nutrition puts on my plate. And I started doing that last August 1st, when Julia was helping me. And I'm down 40, 42 or something like that. And I feel a lot better. And it's not the end result. It's the journey that really has been fun. Because I remember when I lost my first 25, I thought I was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that was 20, almost 20 pounds ago, so it's kind of, the journey has been fun. We take a lot of pictures here so you can kind of look at them, and I don't, but people take a lot of pictures, you know what I mean? And you can see kind of the transformation, and I feel better, and hopefully I look a little bit better.
Well, I think you look great. It's definitely noticeable. It's something that, I think we kind of lose sight of it when it comes to coaches and all of the positions they're put in, where you're probably going to be unhealthy the vast majority of the time. And, the job kind of lends itself to that. So I applaud anyone that's willing to make the effort to kind of get right in certain ways. And you have certainly been able to do that. Can you take me back to the Ole Miss game? Because it's one of the few times that I think I've ever seen a team go for two, then not get it, and pretty much still have universal support that it was the right decision. You held up the two right away. You go back and you watch that, and they're debating on the broadcast. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? And there you are holding up the two. When was that decision made by you? Yeah. Because it felt like it came before the drive even started.
Yeah, I can take you through it. I think there was about a minute and a half left. They got behind us. They scored. I think we had, I don't know what it was, maybe a minute 13, something like that, when we got the ball back. Right when they scored, they hadn't even scored yet. They were running in to score. And I clicked over to KB Kendall and said they did us a favor. And so they scored. We went down. The whole time I just kept saying, well, I got the team together before the drive and said, look, don't come off the field. We're going to go for two when we score. We're going to make the 2 point and get out of here. And but we couldn't stop them either. I know they couldn't stop us. We couldn't stop them. And then when we scored on the very last play of the game, there was really no decision to be made. It was, let's steal the game. Let's go home. Look, at some point, I felt like both of us were going to score. And at some point, a 2 point conversion was going to decide the game anyway. And I thought, we've got it. If we score, they can't retaliate, and it's over. And so I took the chance, but I knew it as soon as they got behind us and scored with a minute something left in the game. I knew we was going to go for two if we were fortunate enough to score. It's
unbelievable because you can say you're going to do something, and then in the heat of the moment, you get maybe in your own head and you say, you know what, maybe we just hold off and we kind of play it to the edge. But you seem to thrive in those moments, and your team has become a lot more familiar with playing in these closer games. And it felt like when the amazing thing, you watch that game back and it's like, wait, 3.5 minutes left in this game and you guys scored twice. on the road against a team that ended up going to a New Year's Six Bowl. Where did that kind of show you where your team was? Because I feel like that game really defined kind of what you guys became in the second half, even though ironically enough, it was in the midst of that 3-game losing streak. And it was, of course, just a devastating loss.
Yeah, I think, here's what I'll say. If I tell the team something, I'm going to do it. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, and so I had thought about that decision, you know what I mean? And so I told them, and once I tell them they're not going to call me a liar. When I tell them that's what we're going to do, and that's the end of it, or I just wouldn't have told them, but I felt comfortable with that. So I was good there. I do think that there is an air of confidence that we have, an air of we are disrespected, an air of blue chip, an air of lunch pail, however you want to look at it. We are all in it together. I wasn't the first choice here. I got something to prove. I have something to prove to the state of Arkansas that they hired the right coach. Our kids have something to prove, that we're not the old Arkansas, that we're one that you don't want to play. And we're not there yet, but we're headed there. And then I said it when I first came here, we want to make the people of Arkansas proud of the football team. And so all of those things are driving forces to have success here. And our kids are bought into every bit of that because that's how we feel. All of us in the building. It's weird, but it's true.
I'm ready to run through a wall. I mean, like you hear that stuff and it is inspiring, because with some people, it's just lip service. With you and having to talk to you, I know that it is 100% genuine. And, with your team, I think you could make a legitimate case that your two most impressive games of the year were losses. You might disagree with that, but if you're going 3-9, that's a problem. But when you're 9-4, you can kind of build on what you saw against Ole Miss, what you saw against Bama. You don't get to fire up the jukebox after a game like that necessarily, but what was your biggest takeaway watching those two performances and how different they were compared to maybe what you dealt with in 2020?
Yeah, I'll go back even further. I think our first game last year against Georgia 2 years ago, where we were ahead at half. I think all those things had, if there was a question in our kids' minds, it brought back belief. And even in losses, like Alabama, we just kept coming back. They were ahead 14, come back, 14, come back. At Alabama, great program, one of the greatest, if not the greatest head coach ever. But our kids will fight. And I think when we came back off of that game, then we still had Missouri to play, but we were on what we called the 4 Bs at that point. We were on bowl, boot, Bama, and then the Battle Line Trophy. So we at the end of the 4B, and we did 3 of 4 of those. But I think the Ole Miss deal of knowing we can come back helped us in the 2-minute drive against Mississippi State, if that makes sense.
I know you said you were rooting for Georgia in the title game. Obviously, your connections there. I've always wondered, what's the congratulatory text like to text or call, with Kirby, knowing that he's got a million of those coming in. I'd like to think, with how personable you are, that you would just kind of show up on his door, maybe like 3 days after his hangover wore off or something like that. You just kind of showed up on his doorstep to give him a hug. What was your interaction like afterwards?
I just sent him a text that said "badass" on it. I mean, hey, listen, I didn't have anything to do with them guys winning the national championship, but I knew players on the team. And so I don't even think Alabama people could be mad at me for rooting for Georgia. I put 4 years of Jamie and I's life into the University of Georgia. So, but, Kirby, we lost it in 17, I think it was. And 17, we lost, and they had lost in the SEC championship game. You know, sometimes it seems like that's kind of how it goes. You know, you don't get to the SEC championship game or you lose and you still got a chance to win the Natty. That's a heck of a league right there, buddy. And so anyway, I was proud for them, proud for the players that I had coached or recruited or whatever. When I say that, I'm not taking any credit for the game. I didn't coach them, but I knew them and I was proud of that. I'm proud for the coaches.
I've seen you say a ton that Arkansas is the last job you'll ever have. And I truly believe you when you say that. But let me just throw this hypothetical at you. Pat Sajak steps down as the host of Wheel of Fortune and they court you.
Football coaching job. I didn't say that I wouldn't, me and Hannah, what's her name?
Vanna White. Yeah.
Vanna White wouldn't be, give me an E, give me an A, you know what I mean? I didn't say that. I said football job.
Okay. So I think that answers our question then. If they say to you, Sam, you're our guy. We need you. We need that enthusiasm. You were made to do this. You're telling Wheel of Fortune, yes, right? Correct?
No. Is it any closer to Hot Springs, Arkansas? Because if it's not, answer would be no.
They travel all the time, man. I think you can you could work that into your contract. Hey, we're building a studio in Hot Springs. If they want you that badly, they will make that happen. And then every single time you let them off with a yes sir, and
you could do that.
Jukebox on. All the catchphrases are absolutely there for you to make that happen. So I'm just saying, you shouldn't say that's. You definitely clarify. That's your last football job, not your last job overall. So just want that to be known. Okay, I've worked on my yes sir. Last year when you came on, you graded it a D-, but then I think
you sure I didn't say B- and you thought it was D-?
No, it was D- because then
okay.
You said afterwards, you're like, Conroe, I was too hard on you. I'll bump it up to a C+. Look, I'm ready. I'm ready to get that to a B. So can you grade me?
Yeah.
All right. Yes, sir.
I like it. That's a let's put it at 87%.
80. That's like a B+, right?
Well, it depends on what school you're in.
Okay.
It could be a high C or a high B+.
I go to the B+ schools, not the high C schools.
It was awesome. It was so much better. It was great. It really was an A. It was great. It really was.
God, all right, that made my day.
You worked on it.
All right, I want to get you out of here with 5 rapid fire questions. Just 5 questions. First thing that comes to mind. Does that work for you?
All right.
All right. What would it take for you to get a Boss Hog tattoo?
Never.
Not a tattoo guy?
No, don't have any.
Fair enough.
Not against them. I just don't, my skin's so perfect. I don't want to cover it up. All right,
next. I always got to ask this. What's playing on the jukebox most for you lately?
King Harvest.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to Google that one, but I okay. That might be. Oh yeah. Okay, I know that song.
Yeah.
Okay.
King Harvest, great song.
If you weren't a football coach, what would you be doing for a living?
Wow. Salesman. I don't know what I tried to sell encyclopedias at one point. I sold a set to my parents and that was it.
Wait, what? Were you a door-to-door encyclopedia salesman?
No, I was door to my parents' house and then that was the end of it. It didn't last very long. It was horrible. But no, yeah, you know what? I think if I wasn't, I'd like to be some type of commentator. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I would gladly warm up a seat for you over here to be able to do something like that. The current state of the transfer portal is A, totally fine, B, unsustainable, C, a mess that you're getting used to, or D, none of the above.
C.
Okay, I like that. I actually haven't heard that answer. I like that.
That's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
I think we're all getting used to it. I think we're going to have some type of dead period put on the portal. It has to. At some point, us coaches need to know who's going to be on our roster.
Agreed. Last one for you. Your favorite rivalry trophy is what?
Ooh.
And please say it's the boot.
Okay, the boot. I'm not. All of them.
Hey, once upon a time, beggars couldn't be choosers. All of them are great. All of them are great. And when you hadn't had is the rivalry trophies in your case for, however many years each, 5, 6 years.
Then the classic trophy probably, because I don't think we ever had it, did we? We had it one time. A&M.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That was cool because it was a neutral site, That was cool. I don't know. They're all pretty special.
They're all part of the B's, the 4 B's. That's all that matters.
That's right.
Yeah. Sam, this has been a blast. Really appreciate the time. Best of luck with everything this season, and send my love to Lucy.
Thank you. I will. Thank you much. Appreciate you so much.